to start?
Yes, sir. I think if Vicky has done the round of testing, we can start.
Yes, ma'am, we have already done it. This OC is joining.
Okay.
Morning, everybody. Um, Ma'am,
Hi, can you hear me?
yeah,
Yeah, all right.
let's start.
Sure. My apologies. Technology just went hayway last minute. My plug point crashed and my laptop had to restart. Myself, Deepa Rahulishwar, let's get started without any further delay. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Gujarat Maritime Board, GMB, I would express my sincere gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister, first and foremost, Shri Narendra Modi, for envisaging the Virtual Maritime India Summit 2021, which in its second edition has already established itself as the robust platform for networking, exploring business opportunities, knowledge sharing, and forging business partnerships. GMB would like to take this opportunity to thank the Honorable Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Shri Mansukh Mandavia, for spearheading the event in these challenging times, a testimony to the firm commitment towards facilitating critical infrastructure creation and fostering and encouraging investment climate. GMB also acknowledges the decisive and dynamic leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat, Shri Vijay Bhai Rupani, under whose able guidance, Gujarat has maintained its status as the numero uno maritime state of India. And of course, on behalf of the government of Gujarat and on behalf of Gujarat Maritime Board, I would like to welcome Srimati Smriti Irani, the Honorable Union Minister for Textiles, in this session on the investment opportunities in Gujarat. She's not joined us yet, but she will be joining us in a short while. We are eagerly awaiting her presence. On behalf of Gujarat Maritime Board, I would also like to express my gratitude and warmly welcome all the distinguished guests and eminent speakers on the panel today. Thank you so much for making time to join us today. Leading the maritime growth story for India is the state of Gujarat, which handles 40% of the country's maritime traffic. Today, in this special session on investment opportunities in Gujarat, we shall have an opportunity to hear from senior-most policy makers of the state and eminent professionals representing the industry and regulatory authorities alike. So now, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let me invite Vice Chairperson and Chief Executive Officer of Gujarat Maritime Board, Srimati Avantika Singh. Srimati Avantika Singh, an IAS officer of 2003 batch with more than 17 rich years of notable service in public administration, is currently serving as the Vice Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Gujarat Maritime Board, the nodal organization of the Government of Gujarat for development of the port sector in Gujarat. It needs a special mention that in 2012, she was honored by the Election Commission of India for her outstanding contribution by implementing the best electoral practices at Bharuch during her tenure as the district election officer. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the panel, let's welcome Srimati Avantika Singh. Over to you, ma'am.
On behalf of the Government of Gujarat, Gujarat Maritime Board, and our partner organizer, the Kandla Port Trust, I extend a very warm welcome to all the esteemed speakers on the panel and all the participants who've joined in to this special session on investment opportunities in Gujarat. I would request loading of the presentation, please. Gujarat's maritime legacy ranged from Lothal, the world's oldest known dockyard, to Mundra, the country's largest private port, under the visionary and decisive leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Bhai Modi ji, and Gujarat has evolved as the trend and in the maritime sector, nationally and globally. So, can we load the next? Yeah. Deepa, am I audible?
You are very much audible, ma'am, but right now, are you waiting for the slide to change?
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. The Gujarat Maritime Board, as the first state maritime board of the country, set up right back in 1982, has been instrumental in tapping the potential and opportunities offered by the 1,600-kilometer long coastline and leveraging the strategic locational advantage of our state. The vision of Gujarat Maritime Board has been to develop world-class maritime infrastructure and place Gujarat prominently on the international shipping map. The coastline of Gujarat is dotted with 48 non-major ports, including various models of public-private partnerships, such as private ports, captive jetties, private jetties, supported by the progressive and far-sighted policies of the state. The state has been able to successfully channelize private investment for development of its ports and logistics facilities. There are many firsts associated with the state of Gujarat and its port sector. The state leads the way in the national rankings, such as the Leeds Index for logistics, the Export Preparedness Index, and has therefore emerged as the most sought after investment destination. GMB, since its inception, has introduced a series of proactive policies and regulatory frameworks for development of ports, shipbuilding, ship recycling, and supportive ancillary industries. We have always been ahead of the curve in terms of providing a conducive policy environment for potential investors. As a result of the visionary policies of the state government, the state achieved many landmarks during its development journey, such as the establishment of the first private port in India with the port of Pipavav. Mr. Jakob is also joining us. He would explain more about the journey of Pipavav and its experience in Gujarat. India's first chemical terminal set up at Dahej, and India's first LNG terminal established again at Dahej by Petronet LNG in the year 2004. Continuing the growth trajectory, the state is now poised to set up the first CNG terminal of the world at Bhavnagar as a public-private partnership project. Many recent initiatives, which would be explained further in the short film that comes next, are initiatives like the Gujarat Maritime University. In a short span of just 2 years, Gujarat Maritime University has inked collaborations with world's leading educational institutions, such as the Copenhagen Business School, Erasmus University, STC International, and has emerged as a symbol of quality and excellence in the field of maritime education. As a run-up to the Maritime India Summit, just yesterday, we've launched our Center for Executive Education, and our first executive development program was inaugurated by the Ambassador of Netherlands to India just yesterday. Just like globally recognized maritime clusters like Dubai, Singapore, Hong Kong, London, Gujarat is poised to launch the country's first commercial services maritime sector at GIFT City, the Gujarat International Finance Tech City, India's first operational smart city and international financial services center. This cluster would provide an ecosystem for all service providers of maritime and shipping sectors like shipping lines, ship charterers, ship owners, operators, freight forwarders, and other operators in the sector. Similarly, and in the same spirit of our Honorable Prime Minister's vision for Atmanirbhar Bharat, there is a proposal for setting up GMAC, Gujarat International Maritime Arbitration Center. India today has about 35 arbitration centers, but none of them specializes or focuses only on maritime and shipping sector disputes. Therefore, the Indian maritime trade prefers Singapore, Dubai, London, and other centers for dispute resolution. We propose to attract and bring them back to our shores. MOUs with the Mumbai Center for International Arbitration and the International Financial Service Center have been inked as part of the Maritime India Summit. This is also an invitation and call for arbitrators, mediators, and experts to associate and partner with GMAC. In the end, I would like to conclude with an invitation to all of you to explore the range of opportunities offered by Gujarat and to partner with us in this journey of port-led growth and prosperity of our state and our country. Jai Hind, Jai Jai Garbi Gujarat.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for setting the tone of today's session. Like ma'am had mentioned during her welcome address itself, we will next see a video presentation. It's a short movie offering glimpses of our growth story and the exciting investment opportunities offered by Gujarat port sector. So let's take a look at this video.
There are no kings on the seas, only God is. When it comes to taming and tapping the sea, there are leaders and followers. Who, in the Indian context, are the leaders is a no-brainer. It is Gujarat Maritime Board, the maritime brand of India. These golden words of our Honorable Prime Minister are a reflection of the success story of the Indian state of Gujarat. Gujarat, the pioneering, futuristic, and entrepreneurial state of India. Gujarat, a front-runner maritime state in India. Gujarat, the state with the longest coastline of 1,600 kilometers in the country. Gujarat, the nearest maritime outlet to the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. Gujarat, dotted with 48 non-major ports and one major port. collectively handling about 40% of the total national cargo. The state has been a torchbearer in India when it comes to path-breaking maritime initiatives, like announcement of the first port policy of the country in 1995, the development of the first private port Pipavav in India in 1996, the first chemical terminal of India at Dahej in 2001, the first 2 operational LNG terminals at Dahej and Hazira, the largest private port of the country at Mundra, the largest port-based refinery at Sikka, the first of its kind maritime university, Gujarat Maritime University, promoting commercial maritime education with international tie-ups, the first of its kind commercial maritime cluster, the Gujarat Maritime Cluster, India's first CNG terminal at Bhavnagar, the second largest ship recycling yard in the world at Alam, and development of shipbuilding facilities, making Gujarat the only state in India to have a cradle-to-graveyard concept for ships. The realizations are aided by Gujarat Maritime Board, GMB, the first maritime board in the country. Today, Gujarat boasts of the highest number of operating ports with substantial participation of private sector. As the future beckons us, 2 landmark initiatives, the Gujarat Maritime University and Gujarat Maritime Cluster, are taking concrete shape in Gandhinagar. The Gujarat Maritime Cluster, now open virtually, is hosting an array of maritime, shipping and logistics services providers at India's iconic and first smart city, the Gift City in Gandhinagar. The Gujarat port sector invites the maritime stalwarts, stakeholders, regulatory organizations, and educational institutions to commence the journey of being part of this visionary initiative. Together we are stronger. Join the revolution today.
आज गुजरात में समुद्री कारोबार से उससे जुड़े इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को और कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग पर तेजी से काम चल रहा है। जैसे गुजरात मैरीटाइम क्लस्टर, गिफ्ट सिटी में बनने वाला गुजरात मैरीटाइम क्लस्टर बंदरगाहों से लेकर सी बेस्ड लॉजिस्टिक को एड्रेस करने वाला एक समर्पित तंत्र होगा। ये क्लस्टर एक प्रकार से सरकार, उद्योग और शिक्षण संस्थानों के बीच के सहयोग को बल देगा। इससे इस सेक्टर में वैल्यू एडिशन में भी बहुत बड़ी मदद मिलेगी।
GMB has established Gujarat Maritime University, a premium maritime university with 3 schools offering programs in maritime law, international trade law, shipping and logistics, and short-term programs. GMU has also partnered with renowned international institutions like Erasmus UPT and STC International of Netherlands and Copenhagen Business School Executive of Denmark.
साथियों, समुद्री व्यापार कारोबार के लिए एक्सपर्ट तैयार हो, एक ट्रेंड मैन पावर हो, इसके लिए गुजरात में मैरीटाइम यूनिवर्सिटी बहुत बड़ा सेंटर है। इस सेक्टर से जुड़ी आवश्यकताओं के लिए प्रोफेशनल एजुकेशन देने वाला ये देश का पहला संस्थान है। आज यहाँ समुद्री कानून और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय व्यापार, कानूनी की पढ़ाई से लेकर मैरीटाइम मैनेजमेंट, शिपिंग, लॉजिस्टिक्स, उसमें भी MBA तक की सुविधा मौजूद है।
Another important milestone in the Indian maritime sector would be the development of the first dedicated alternate dispute resolution center focusing on the maritime and shipping industry, Gujarat International Maritime Arbitration Center. The GMAC, developed by GMU, shall be housed at the Gujarat Maritime Cluster. In this journey of economic growth and prosperity, the Gujarat Maritime Board has also partnered with the Port of Rotterdam to shape its maritime dreams through strategic port planning and capacity building. Under the decisive, dynamic and visionary leadership of Shri Vijay Rupani, GMB invites you to explore, partner and invest in a gamut of exciting investment avenues in the thriving, investor-friendly state of Gujarat. Development of greenfield ports and private jetties, bunkering, marine tourism, facilities for container on barge services, free trade and warehousing zone, mechanization and upgradation of port facilities, development of facilities for shipbuilding and repairs, modernizing ship recycling yards, shore-to-ship power supply, industrial port cities, Gujarat Maritime Cluster, Gujarat Maritime University, and many more. Freedom from restrictive tariff regulations, rewarding long-term commercial contracts, and focus on ease of doing business makes Gujarat's maritime sector one of the most pioneering and well-developed in India. Gujarat Maritime Board is poised to anchor states, countries, national and international businesses to become partners in their journey.
Well, thank you so much. That was a presentation or a video that certainly shows some of those exciting investment opportunities in the Gujarat port sector. Thank you so much for all of that. And now I invite for a special address, Shri Manoj Kumar, Executive Director, International Financial Services Center Authority. Mr. Manoj has been associated with the Securities and Exchange Board of India, a premier autonomous regulatory board for securities market in India for more than 24 years. He has recently moved to IFSCA as an executive director. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Shri Manoj Kumar for a special address. And let me also remind all of the audience here and whoever has joined us today for the session that if you have any questions to any of the speakers, you can feel free to post it on the chat box. We will choose to answer it either during the session or definitely you will receive an email response to those questions very shortly after the session. All right. On that note, let's invite Shri Manoj Kumar for his special address. Over to you, sir. Sir, you are on mute. Kindly unmute yourself. Can you kindly unmute yourself, sir? He is still on mute, I guess. Can somebody else unmute him? Let me see if...
You need to unmute yourself.
Please unmute yourself, sir.
Yes.
On your device, there is an unmute button.
Mr. Manoj Kumar?
Mr. Manoj,
Mr. Manoj Kumar, can you hear us? Can you please unmute yourself?
I think he's unmuted now.
Is he? Okay.
So still you are on mute, sir. Please unmute yourself.
Sir, you are on mute. Mr. Manoj Kumar, can you please unmute yourself by clicking on the microphone, the red microphone icon that you can see? In the list of participants, yes.
You need to click on your red microphone on your photograph and there you can unmute yourself.
Can one of the administrators unmute him from your desk? Is that possible?
No, ma'am, I can just send a request to unmute.
Oh, okay. All right. Should we move on while he figures it out? Mr. Manoj Kumar, can you please drop a chat if you can hear us? Right, should we move on? So by the time we figure out on Mr. Manoj Kumar?
Yes, please. We should.
Yes, I will move on. All right. I hope Shri Manoj Kumar figures that unmute option very quickly. We will move on to the next segment for the day. All right. I would now the next on our agenda, I would now like to invite the chairman of Deen Dayal Port Trust, Shri S.K. Mehta, to share his valuable insights with us. Kandla, also known as the Deen Dayal Port Trust, DPT, has a strategic location which has catapulted its position as the leading major port of India. Shri S.K. Mehta is a senior IFS officer of 1990 batch from Gujarat cadre with more than 30 years of wide experience in public administration and governance. Before joining Deen Dayal Port Trust as chairman in April 2019, he was additional principal chief conservator of forests, Jungad Circle, Government of Gujarat. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to him. On screen, we have Shri S.K. Mehta, IFS Chairman, Deen Dayal Port Trust. Sir, over to you.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would start by thanking the Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat for his august presence in the Maritime India Summit 2021. I would like to heartily greet the Honorable Union Cabinet Minister of Textiles, Srimati Smriti Irani, who would be gracing the panel as a keynote speaker. I would also like to greet my co-panelist who would be joining in some time to come, Mr. Sri M.K. Das, ACS Honorable Chief Minister and ACS Industries and Mines, Sri Kamal Dayani, ACS GAD and Ports and Transport Department, Srimati Avantika Singh, Vice Chairperson and CEO GMB, Sri Manoj Kumar, Executive Director IFSC, Mr. Karan Adani, CEO Adani Ports and SEZ Limited, Mr. Jacob Sorensen, MD APM Terminals Pipavav, and Mr. Mark Artensen, International Port Projects, Port of Rotterdam. It is my pleasure to be part of such an esteemed panel, and I am delighted to share my insights on the opportunities and synergy in the maritime sector in Gujarat. As we all know, that Gujarat has the longest coastline in the country and has a total of 1 major port, that is DPT, and 38 non-major ports. While Gujarat Maritime Board is the apex organization which manages, controls, and administers the non-major ports of Gujarat, and incidentally, that is GMB is also the first maritime board of the country, which was created in 1982. Deen Dayal Port is one of the biggest major port that is located in Gujarat. That is the only major port located in Gujarat. Over the last 3 decades, I'm talking about GMB. Over the last 3 decades, GMB has institutionalized the concept of PPP, integrated port-led development of its non-major ports, supported by last mile railroad connectivity. The port development in Gujarat was effectively implemented by bringing right private partners through various pioneering models of privatization. This has resulted in the development of many maritime milestones by GMB in Gujarat, like it has already been told by the CEO also in the film also. But at the cost of repetition, I am telling again, The first private port of India at Pipavav in 1996 was developed by GMB. First chemical terminal of India at Dahej in 2001. Largest private port of the country at Mundra. Largest port-based refinery in the country at Sikka. Second largest ship recycling yard in the world at Alang. And Gujarat is the only state in the country to have a cradle to graveyard concept for the ships. It's a unique concept being followed by GMB. Together, GMB and DPT, we are contributing to the economy and development of Gujarat and the country immensely. Deen Dayal Port handled around 122 MMT of cargo in 1920, which is about 7.1% of the total traffic handled at the ports in the country. While at the same time, GMB ports handled around 412 MMT of cargo, which accounts to a mammoth 31% of the total cargo handled at the ports in the country. Gujarat contributes about 40% of the total national cargo handled, and GMB alone contributes to about 68% of the non-major port cargo. So arguably GMB is the largest maritime board in the country. This immense contribution to the EXIM and coastal trade of the country and industrialization as a whole makes us feel more motivated to work harder and improve the efficiency and growth of the maritime sector in this region. This calls for more synergy and mutual partnership in the future between major ports and state maritime boards, and specifically in this context, Deen Dayal Port and GMB. I am delighted to inform everybody that with immense cooperation from GMB, we were able to start Goga Hazira Ro-Ro Ro-Pax ferry services, which was inaugurated by the Honorable Prime Minister, and the services being offered is running successfully now. With great emphasis on developing Ro-Ro Ro-Pax services in Gujarat and other areas, DPT would like to extend its hand for any cooperation or synergies whichever are possible. We would also like to highlight that with such a vast stretch of port limit and the land assets that we have that are available at DPT, we would also like to collaborate in port-led industrialization, co-development of infrastructure facilities whenever and wherever possible. DPT has come up with 6-pronged strategy with reference to Maritime India Vision of 2030, which includes capacity enhancement, promotion of landlord models, port-led industrialization, enhancing port productivity, ease of doing business, and reducing cost of doing business, promoting coastal and inland waterways transport, and finally, a green, healthy, and safe port ecosystem. DPT is the important thing. I think everybody should know that DPT has been declared as a mega port in Maritime India Vision 2030. And as a part of that, DPT now aims to increase its capacity to 338 plus MMTPA by 2030 and having an ambitious target of a cargo throughput of more than 200 MMTPA by 2028. To achieve the mega port status, DPT have a string of important projects lined up for the coming years, namely 6 oil jetties worth more than 1,000 crores, Tuna Tegra container terminal and multi-purpose cargo terminal worth more than 5,800 crores, mechanization of fertilizer berths worth 300 crores, containerization of cargo jetties 13, 15 and 16 worth 3,100 crores, SIPC worth more than 1,200 crores, and the upcoming whatever feasible Ro-Ro Ro-Pax services which are available in Gujarat. I would like to urge the investors to come and collaborate in these ambitious projects of DPT and help pave the path of development of Gujarat. I heartfully believe that the state government would help in developing infrastructure and last mile connectivity to reduce the logistics cost and improve the economy of the region. And we at DPT would like to extend our wholehearted cooperation as well for contributing to the development of maritime sector in the state. During Maritime India Summit 2021, DPT has signed 43 MOUs worth 81,100 crores. The major ones being the MOU on furniture park with Timber Association worth 400 crores, MOUs with IOCL to develop wild jetties worth 1760 crores, MOU with IHB with reference to Kandla Gorakhpur LPG pipeline worth 4,150 crores, MOUs with SR Group for petrochemical and steel complex worth about 55,000 crores, and MOU with Nyara Energy for additional cargo worth 10,700 crores. Looking at such an immense interest from stakeholders, I would once again urge the private sector together with the state government and GMB to collaborate and invest in the future of Gujarat and India as a whole. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mehta. That was indeed, it was an enlightening talk that you gave, encouraging, and also looking forward to a lot of support. Thank you so much. And I hope now we have Shri Manoj Kumar and his all the technical issues are sorted out. So I'd like to once again Shri Manoj Kumar, Executive Director, International Financial Services Center Authority, for a special address for the day. Over to you, Shri Manoj Kumar.
Thank you very much, and I believe now I am quite audible. Sometimes technology poses challenges and all of us have to surmount those challenges. So in that spirit, I am really grateful for Maritime Board to invite me for this summit, because though you have a long history and in the long history you have many firsts, but we have a very short tenure, because we are hardly 6 months old regulator, but we also have many first to our credit. And during my course of address, probably I will try to highlight some of those first. So can we go to the presentation, please? Next slide, please. So as you observe from this slide that this is the first IFSC, and since today we are talking about many first, and Madam Avantika in her opening remark mentioned that how many firsts are there. If you notice that probably we are the only regulatory body, not only in the country but across the globe also, which is having a very unified structure, whereby the powers of 4 sectoral regulators have been combined into one, and that combined authority has been created in April 2020. So with this mandate, which is hugely broad mandate, we have in last 6 odd months, we have taken many initiatives, which I will take you through in the next slide. If you notice that in a very short span of time, we have tried to focus on many aspects which can stand out and ensure that we are slightly distinct, because all across the globe there are many financial centers, but here we try to ensure that we are slightly distinct. And if you notice that in our mission statement itself, we have been very focused to ensure our economic growth for the entire country, and towards this we have put a lot of emphasis on attracting international capital through GIFT IFSC, so that we can become a global hub for international financial services. Next slide, please. And why we are talking about this type of global fusion, and why we want to become a hub? Because if you notice that time and again we all have realized that there is a huge potential, and that is what in fact Mr. Mehta was also highlighting, that what type of potential the maritime industry has in this country, particularly in the state of Gujarat. So keeping that spirit alive, we have also tried to create a structure at GIFT IFSC, and as a regulator, we are trying to shaping that dream. Next slide, please. So this is an overview that in short span of time, how much conducive and enabling environment we have created, where large number of market intermediaries which have some sort of relationship with the growth of the maritime capital flow also has been created in GIFT IFSC. We have large presence of banks. We are working very hard to ensure that insurance segment should also be up and running. We already have certain significant insurance players who are operating here along with the intermediaries, and particularly from a maritime industry perspective, we are focusing on this shipping insurance club. We are very actively interacting with them, and shortly you can hear that those type of shipping insurance clubs, which are known as PI club, they will be establishing their offices here. And of course, since I come from a capital market segment, the entire enabling framework which is available globally is available today at GIFT IFSC, and this is very significant development, because without capital market probably the global fund flows cannot be ensured. And once the entire ecosystem of capital market along with banking and insurance is in place, then all foreign investors, they are very keenly looking towards this GIFT IFSC initiative, and once they start ensuring investments through GIFT IFSC, that investment, I am very sure, will also start flowing to the maritime segment also. And in that aspect, I will not go through the competitive tax regime, because I think probably those who are tracking GIFT IFSC, they are very well aware that Government of India has put a very significant emphasis to ensure that in all respect, whatever facilities are available at the International Financial Services Center across the globe, like Singapore, Hong Kong, Mauritius, London, Dubai, etc., the same sort of advantages should be available. In fact, in the latest budget, there were a large number of announcements which focused to give something more, and I'm sure that all the participants who are attending this today's summit would try to benefit from this enabling framework and environment which has been created in a very short span of time. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned that many initiatives have been taken, and in this context, focusing on today's session, I would especially like to highlight the global regime for aircraft leasing and financing. This is a very latest initiative, and probably some of you who are very closely tracking the developments would have noticed that 2 days back there was a summit in Delhi, which was attended by Honorable Finance Minister and Honorable Minister for Civil Aviation, and where IFSCA was a key participant, and that was also organized under the aegis of FICCI, if I am not wrong. And it was very well announced that 4 key players have already started processes for establishing themselves, and shortly you will find that we are in a position to provide aircraft leasing and financing from GIFT IFSC, similar to what is happening today at Dublin. So this is a very significant development. and I'm sure that all participants will try to take benefit, because similar sort of arrangement we are going to recreate for the maritime industry as well. Apart from that, there are a lot of related initiatives, such as facilitating InVEETs and REITs, which are really very good instruments which help people to ensure investments here through GIFT IFSC. And similarly, we have taken a very significant initiative in terms of facilitating technology infusion and utilization of technology in a better way in various sectoral plays, including the maritime industry. And I would urge all participants that in case they feel that there are certain solutions which can enhance the capital flow to maritime industry, they can interact with us, and we will provide them the enabling bed to test those technology solutions. And in that spirit itself, we have already put in place a global in-house center regime where global players can set up their in-house facilities to help and to provide services to their global businesses abroad. And this may also be relevant for the maritime industry, because by nature you have a very global connect and interaction. So those who are willing, they can explore this possibility, and we as a regulator, we will try to facilitate that. Next slide, please. Particularly from a maritime industry perspective, we are really enthused when we heard Madam in her opening remark that lot of initiatives, particularly that of Gujarat Maritime University and Arbitration Center for Dispute Resolutions, have been created, along with the Prime Minister's vision of commercial maritime cluster. I think that sequencing is really very significant to give a lot of boost to this GIFT IFSC center, because maritime industry is one industry where a lot of foreign capital flow is required. And from that perspective, while we have entered into MOU with respect to arbitration center, etc., but we would like to have specific MOUs with Gujarat Maritime University so as to develop a world-class capacity in terms of manpowers who can deal with the requirement of maritime industry. Besides that, as I mentioned, that aircraft leasing business is one where stakeholders can think of coming to us, and we will be very happy to create a similar or maybe a better structure for ship leasing and financial activities. We will be very happy to provide all regulatory support for initiating this process and for ensuring that this type of industry similar to aircraft leasing is also activated here. Similarly, we have already floated our detailed consultation paper, which is there available on our website for finance companies that can cover ship leasing also as one of the critical business activities. And since we are emerging as a maritime hub, so IFSCA as a regulator, we have an advantage that we are relatively new regulator, and we are in the process of developing regulations. We are in the process of developing policies. So any association at this stage with us by any of the core participants would really help in shaping a very vibrant maritime hub here in GIFT IFSC. With this, I would like to thank the Maritime Board for giving IFSCA this opportunity to interact, and I would once again assure that we are open to any suggestions, any regulatory framework which is desirable for the development of maritime cluster here in GIFT IFSC. We will definitely handle it. We will go overboard to ensure that appropriate regulatory framework is being created so that we can attract large number of foreign participants and investment to this industry. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Shri Manoj Kumar. Thank you so much for your address. We will now move on. It's my pleasure to invite Shri Kamal Dayani, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary, Ports and Transport Department, Government of Gujarat, to deliver a special address. Shri Kamal Dayani, a 1990 batch Gujarat cadre IAS officer, currently serves as the Additional Chief Secretary in General Administration, Personnel, as well as Ports and Transport Department. In a career spanning over 30 years, Shri Dayani has occupied distinguished positions in the Government of Gujarat and Government of India. Ladies and gentlemen, let's invite Shri Kamal Dayani, IAS, for a special address next. May I request all the speakers once again, remind them that time is very valuable, so we need to keep track of that. So requesting all the speakers to please stick to time. Over to you, Shri.
Yeah. Okay, very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I extend a warm welcome to all of you who are attending this special session on investment opportunities in Gujarat in the maritime sector. I would also like to express my sincere gratitude to the Union Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways for organizing this mega event amidst such challenging times. I'm sure this MIS 2021 shall prove to be an excellent stage for networking, showcasing projects with investment opportunities of diverse scales and exchange of valuable insights in the maritime sector. The advantage of Gujarat having the longest coastline in the country and its contribution in the total cargo throughput is known to everyone. But let me tell you that along with the natural advantage the state is blessed with, the state government's proactive policies and conducive business environment has contributed immensely in evolving Gujarat as the leading maritime state of the country. Since the introduction of India's first ever port policy way back in 1995, many prominent companies and organizations from India and abroad have invested along Gujarat coastline. And I'm happy to inform you that many of these organizations have also embarked upon large expansion programs, or they are proposing large expansion programs to set up port infrastructure at various ports within the state. Government of Gujarat has been a pioneer in encouraging public-private partnership in the port sector of various models which were described in the video which was shown earlier. This has helped in further strengthening the presence of national and international port operators and shipping companies to invest in Gujarat port sector. The Gujarat maritime sector is focused on expansion and is offering various areas for investment, ranging from the development of greenfield ports, private jetties, captive jetties, to mechanization and digitization of existing port facilities. In addition, we also aim to develop additional facilities for shipbuilding, ship recycling, and ship repairing in various coastal cities of Gujarat, with all favorable attributes and flourishing maritime facilities along the coastline. Moving forward, the state presents bright prospects for the development of free trade warehousing zone and dedicated freight corridor served logistic parks towards improving accessibility and facilitating the seamless movement of high estimated cargo volumes for the northern hinterland of the country. I am pleased to inform that the state of Gujarat, towards creating a robust and sustainable maritime ecosystem, has initiated the development of world-class maritime support infrastructure like Gujarat Maritime Cluster in the GIFT City, the Gujarat Maritime University and the Gujarat International Maritime Arbitration Center, located in Gift City at Gandhinagar. The details of all these initiatives were shown in detail in the video film which was shown earlier to all the participants. Through such initiatives, the state aims for the holistic development of the maritime sector through development of the soft aspects of the trade like skill development, R&D, maritime legal services, etc. The state solicits ideas and innovation from all of you that will propel the maritime business through projects like Gujarat Maritime Cluster, Gujarat Maritime University. We are also committed to encourage maritime startups in the country by providing them with a definitive platform for innovation, research, and global marketing support. At this juncture, I would like to invite all the interested entrepreneurs and industrialists and professionals from maritime sector to partner with Gujarat Maritime Cluster and fructify this collaborative growth opportunity. We are also actively pursuing the development of water tourism and sports activities like parasailing, yachting, speedboating, snorkeling, scuba diving, water skiing, etc. on the beaches in the state, as well as the water amusement centers in collaboration with national and international operators. I believe that this session will act as a bridge between the industries and the government, resulting into the new beginning and strengthening the existing partnerships that would catalyze the growth in the maritime trade, not only in Gujarat, but across India. And I'm confident that Maritime India Summit 2021 will act as a definitive platform for one and all in the maritime fraternity to showcase the capabilities and forge new partnerships for mutual exchange of knowledge, technology, and opportunities. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your unrelenting support, which has definitely been instrumental in propelling Gujarat's sports sector to newer heights, and that's our expectation in future as well. Thank you so much. Our stakeholders have been vital for Gujarat's maritime growth story. Even during the times of COVID-19, the Gujarat port sector has ensured that port activities continue unhindered, thereby minimizing the adverse impact of the global pandemic on trade and businesses in the hinterland. The welcome news is that the industry is back on track. The Deen Dayal Port Trust has signed MOUs of about INR 77,200 crores. And the Gujarat Board, the regulatory authority for the non-major ports in Gujarat, has proposed investments of about INR 80,598 crores in the following 4 categories: in the form of MOUs for investment, in the form of investment proposals for expansion and modernization by developers, expression of interest already received for various investment opportunities in the state, capacity upgradation projects of Gujarat Maritime Board. So in these 4 categories, Gujarat Maritime Board has proposed investments of about INR 80,598 crores. Collectively, Gujarat port sector has investment commitments to the tune of over 1.5 lakh crores. Now, that's not a small thing. Now, I'm pleased to invite some of our esteemed stakeholders to speak about their experience of doing business with us. First, we have with us Mr. Jacob Friis Sorensen, currently the Managing Director of APM Terminals Pipavav. Mr. Sorensen is a Danish national and has been a part of AP Moller Maersk Group since 1987. Over the years, he's held various positions within the group in Maersk Line, Maersk Logistics, and Damco in countries like Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, and India. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Jacob Friis Sorensen. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much, esteemed guests and honorable members of GMB. I can see also we have here representative of Undra and other ports. It's very nice to participating in this session here today. Yeah, let me just share my screen here. Is this working? Can you see my screen now? This is the roadmap for the last 20 so years for Pipavav port. And in fact, since the concession was awarded in 1998, it has been a tremendous rapid growth with all these milestones here, as you can see. We started with APM terminals in 2001, so exactly 20 years. And again, developing containers, developing bulk, developing liquid, developing dry bulk. And I have to say, in a year like last year with COVID, it was not the best year for the container business. We had an all-time high record in 2019, but 2020 was a little bit of a COVID year. But thanks God, we had the bulk activities, and we have had tremendous growth in the bulk, both dry bulk, where we have a record in fertilizer, and we have also seen growth in the liquid, where LPG is our primary commodity. So I don't want to talk so much about the past, but what people in the GMB and elsewhere, what you know is that we have a large number of activities that we would like to promote. Not least, I think 2021 is going to be a very remarkable milestone, not only because of COVID recovery, but also because we start going live with the dedicated freight corridor. And with the dedicated freight corridor, Gujarat is really becoming the first coastline to be linked with this tremendous investment from the Western railways. Of course, we have a similar development for the East Coast, but both Mundra and Pipavav will be taking advantage of the DFC when we go live, hopefully in a month or two from now. And we are way ahead of other ports on the West Coast. Navasheva will not be linked for the next coming years. So I think we need to take full advantage of the of the DFC going live. And we are ready in Pipavav. We have done the civil works of electrification, and together with PRCL, we are absolutely ready to take advantage of that. I don't have a slide on it because it's semi-confidential, but I just would like to verbally here repeat some of the plans we have for 2021 and beyond. As GMB will know, we are still exploring the opportunities under Sagamala to also develop a ferry link, ro-ro ferry between Pipavav and Hasira. And Goga Dahej is up and running. I had the pleasure of checking that ferry last year, and I'm glad that we have restarted that link. It helps us a lot. It helps also on the environment because it's naturally better to transport goods by the sea rather than trucks on the road. So that's a good advantage that we have here in the environmental footprint. We are looking at upgrading our LPG jetty so that we can take VLGC carriers, very large gas carriers. And this again will support the transmission of LPG. We have just inaugurated a railhead so that we can evacuate the LPG by rail. And I think that's going to grow tremendously as well with the DFC. On the dry bulk side, we had a record year last year with fertilizer. So we decided to expand our fertilizer shed. So we are expanding 10,000 square meter. But not only that, we are developing a solar plant on the roof. Again, 1 mega, as far as I can say here for my notes. And that is actually the max we are allowed to do. And again, a step towards becoming Gujarat Green Gateway. Again, I just want to add here that the DFC is electrified. So that again means that instead of having diesel engines, we will have electric locomotives. And again, a very good step forward for the environment here. Then on the crane side, for containers, we are looking to upgrade our capability so we can reach 23 containers across. So we will be able to take the same size of vessels as can go into JNPT. That's our benchmark, and we would really want to stay on par with terminals in Mumbai. So that upgrade is getting ready and progressing, and there will be some modifications also of our container yard. One of our ambition is to bring in the DFC all the way to the CY, so that we have a direct link between the ships and the rails. We also work on a multimodal Distripark together with Contrans, one of our CFS operators, and that is progressing. All the things I'm mentioning now are actually concrete plans that we are doing and which I have the board's approval to pursue. But we need, of course, the GMB and other stakeholders to continue to develop these plans. But I'm just listing them up now for the sake of this forum here, which of course is about investing in Gujarat and how it feels like. And you can hear from us, it feels like we have a long list of good projects that we'd like to pursue. We are in fact investigating in extension of the multimodal Distripark to develop a special economic zone for manufacturing, and we would like to attract an ecosystem of manufacturer around the port. And this could be in ship recycling, it could be in agricultural, where we are, of course, in Saurashtra, surrounded in Pipavav by agriculture. So we would like to attract industries that really fits together with Pipavav. On the seaside, we continue to follow the developments of the offshore wind turbine park that has been proposed, and which there is a bilateral discussion between India and Denmark to develop. So in extension of that, we are looking at how we can become offshore shore base, so we can support the offshore industries, and that is not only oil and gas, but certainly also wind turbines, if this is being established offshore. So quite a lot of things to enable us to be truly named Gujarat Green Gateway. And I'd like to stop here and also give a little bit time back, and then for sure give our strong, from AP Moller Terminals, our strong commitment to Gujarat and to the state's further logistics development. We are all here and we are here to stay. Thank you. Thank you, Deepa. I give it back to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was indeed quick, but very, very informative, and all the facts that we require to know. Thank you so much. And we will move on to our next speaker, Mr. Mark Artsen. As a program manager, international port projects for the Port of Rotterdam International Department, Mark Artsen has worked on projects in Europe, Brazil, India, South Africa, and the Far East, and is responsible for boardroom consultancy and establishing participation in growth markets. So let's move on to him. Well, we are hard pressed for time, which is why I requested the speakers to stick to the time allotted, but that should not stop posting your questions on chat here. It will be answered in due course. But for now, yes, let's invite Mr. Mark Artsen for his address. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Can you all hear me?
Very much.
Okay, very good. First of all, I'd like to thank the Gujarat Maritime Board for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share some thoughts with you. My name is Mark Artsen. I work for the Port of Rotterdam, and I have no control over my slides. So I would like to ask you if you can put on the next slide, please. And the next slide, thanks. Yeah, so very short, I work for the Port of Rotterdam International Department, and what we do is really four things. We are investing in ports abroad, outside of Rotterdam. So we have invested so far in a port in the Middle East, in Oman, together with the Omani government. And we have invested in a port in the north of Brazil, in the port of Pecém. And furthermore, we do consultancy, make strategic port plans, long-term vision plans, together with governments in all over the world, governments, port authorities, and investors. We offer training programs, training and education. We do that together with the Shipping and Transport College and the Erasmus University. And furthermore, we have developed digital products to make ports more efficient. And we have implemented that in the Port of Rotterdam ourselves. And we also offer these opportunities in other ports in the world. Next slide, please. So for long-term port planning, a long-term vision is needed. And luckily, the Gujarat Maritime Board acknowledges that and started a cooperation with the Port of Rotterdam to create a long-term vision on port planning. So a team of specialists of the Port of Rotterdam, together with the Gujarat Maritime Board, developed a long-term port plan for the 48 ports that are managed by the Gujarat Maritime Board. And what we have done is look at the requirements for capacity and look also in which ports the developments should take place in the next decades. Next slide, please. So the following research questions we have answered. First, the first segment was the commercial segment. So what is the Gujarat's long-term potential regarding the expected future cargo flow? So we have created a cargo flow forecast, which I will share with you in a minute. And based on these cargo flows, you can see what port infrastructure is needed in the future and where the capacity is falling short. Next, what we have done is ask ourselves together with GMB what role GMB should play in the future, because we have seen that privatization has it was an enormous success in the last decades, but GMB plays various roles. So we have to discuss this with GMB how they should go ahead in the future. So the conclusion of this report will be what is the focus area in the future, what ports and areas should be developed. Next slide, please. Looking at India in the world, you can see the impact of India in the world and also in the maritime sector. Well, India is the second most populous country in the world, surpassing China in due course. It's already the third economy in the world, and it's growing very fast. So it will surpass the USA, what is expected in the future. And it's now the fourth maritime trader in the world, with almost 1 billion tons of cargo. And this has an enormous impact, of course, on the port infrastructure needs. Next slide, please. So looking back at the past 20 years, you can see that the population in India has grown with 1%, but the economy has grown with 7%. Linked to the economy growth is also the port throughput growth, which is also has also grown with 7%. And this all, of course, obviously has an enormous impact on the needs on port infrastructure. Next slide, please. And if you look at Gujarat as a state and compare that with other states in India, you see that Gujarat has an enormous market share, and it has also gained market share in the past 20 years. The market share in the years 2000 was 33%, and it is grown to 41% today. And also compared to the other states in India, Gujarat has grown quite fast with 9% yearly. So this also shows the necessity of looking at the port infrastructure. Next slide, please. When you look at the two segments that are very much present in Gujarat, the energy sector with coal and oil imports, and the containers, you see that if you look at the energy demand, then you can see that India is now with almost 1 billion tons of cargo, ton oil equivalent, where China, a comparable country like India, was 20 years ago. Because China did almost 1 billion tons in 1990. And if you look at the port throughput, then it's also that also accounts for the port throughput, because now there is 1.3 billion tons handled in the ports in India, where in China that was 20 years ago. So that shows that there is an enormous potential in India and obviously also in Gujarat for growth. Next slide, please. So what we did is made a few projections, a few scenarios, which were based on scenarios that are used by a company like Shell and the International Energy Agency, and forecast what the energy demand would be in India in total in the next 30 years. So until up to 2050. And what you see is that there is an enormous growth potential between 1.5 and 3.5 billion ton oil equivalent by 2050, where it is now half a billion ton equivalent. Or not, sorry, I'm saying that wrong. Almost 1 billion. So it will grow with between 1.5 to 3 times over. Next slide, please. We have also looked at the container segment. So we also adapted these energy scenarios to the container segment. Made 3 scenarios, and what you see there is that in India there is also obviously a very big growth because also the economy is growing, and the container sector container throughput in total India will grow to 35 to 60 million TEUs in 2050. So that is our prognosis. And if you translate that to the Gujarat situation, that means that in Gujarat, the growth would be between 12 to 20 million TEUs in 2050. So it is an enormous growth that has to be facilitated somehow. The throughput in the Gujarat ports in total, that means that there is a rise somewhere between 1 and 3 billion tons in 2050. So if you look at the ports at the moment, then you see that there is growth possible, but we have to look at where this growth would be the most beneficial. Next slide, please. So if you look at the situation in Gujarat, you see that the additional capacity needed per scenario, if you look at the most conservative scenario and the most optimistic scenario, the capacity in tons would need to rise between 500 million and 1.7 billion tons. And the area that is needed is the rise in the area, the increase in area demand will be somewhere between 6,500 hectares and 21,000 hectares, which is an enormous area that has to be developed still. And the investments, we made a sort of prognosis of the investments that are attached to this increase will be somewhere between 6 and 20 billion euros. So that is an enormous challenge for Gujarat. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah, thanks. So if you look at the economy in Gujarat, energy and industry is a very important pillar of the industry or the economy. But there is also a challenge because you see that there is an energy transition going on. So that is something that we have to take into account. And if you look at logistics, of course, logistics is also a great pillar of the Gujarat economy. And there you see the Sagamala program and the Make in India initiative. So that could also have a very big influence on the situation, the port sector and the maritime sector in India or in Gujarat. So that is something that we also have to take into account if we are talking about a long-term port vision. Next slide, please. So depending on which scenarios we are looking at and which scenarios will be effective in the future, we have to plan the port facilities in Gujarat very carefully. We can do that in various ways. We can optimize use of existing ports to increase capacity, and you can do that by restructuring existing ports or implementing digital solutions to make the efficiency to realize an efficiency increase. But you can also do that by expanding existing ports. Ports like Mundra have still possibilities to expand. But that will not be enough in our vision, because if you look at the situation at the moment, the current situation, you can also conclude from these forecasts that I just shown you that there is a need for new port locations, one or two big locations where port development is possible. So these are some thoughts that I would wish to share with you. This was only a small part of the total long-term port planning report that we have made and that we are going to still have to discuss in the final version with the Gujarat Maritime Board. But I'm very glad that with this report, because this shows the enormous ambition of the Gujarat Maritime Board, but also the enormous growth potential and investment opportunities in Gujarat. So I would like to thank you so far.
Thank you, Mr. Adson, for that really enlightening talk. And before we move on to the next speaker, I would, with a lot of pleasure, I'd like to let all of us know here that we are joined by the Honorable Union Minister for Textiles and Women and Child Development, Srimati Smriti Irani, who is our chief guest for the day. She's joined us a few minutes back, ma'am, with a lot of pride and a lot of happiness, extending a very warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us amidst your busy schedule. So good to see you with us. We will come to you very soon, ma'am. We just have two more speakers, and the much awaited chief guest address will follow after that. So let's move on to our next speaker on that note. So ladies and gentlemen, next we have with us Mr. Karan Adani, CEO AP says. Karan Adani is the Chief Executive Officer of Adani Ports and says the $14 billion ports and logistics businesses of the diversified conglomerate Adani Group. Following a series of strategic expansion deals, APSEZ is now India's largest and fastest growing private sector port developer and operator with a pan-India logistics reach. With his international perspective, Karan now aims to augment the company's identity around an integrated business model that includes port operations, logistics, and sales development, a combination that is rapidly transforming the company into an end-to-end logistics solutions provider. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Karan Adani, CEO APSEZ. Over to you, Mr. Karan.
Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to be part of this forum. I think, for Adani Group, our journey started in port sector from Gujarat. And if I may, if we look at the history, Gujarat has been a pioneer when it comes to developing a framework for private participation in the port sector. And it's one of the first states to come out with the whole model of PPP and with the Maritime Board and with the concept of having industrialization around the coastline and using the coastal economy to drive growth in the state. And our journey starts from that philosophy that the state of Gujarat had started in the year of 1995. If you look at the past, through the conducive policy that Gujarat has developed, it is the only state in the country which has 5 operational commercial ports. No other state in the country has so many private commercial ports operating other than Gujarat. And and also keeping in mind that from from all the ports that Gujarat is handling, 3 ports, which is mainly Sikka, Mundra, and Kandla, handle 3 ports handle more than 100 million tons, which again no state in the country has been able to develop this. And this has only been possible because of, again, conducive policy, proactive steps taken by the state government, by the Maritime Board, and forward thinking of connecting the ports to the economic centers. And that's the only reason, if I may, when I look back, that why Gujarat has been successful. When you look at Adani Group, we operate 4 ports in the state of Gujarat. Mundra Port, which is the largest port in the country and private port in the country. Our journey, we've been able to develop this port in last 15 years, starting from zero to taking it to the largest commercial port. And again, this was only possible because of the kind of support that we got from the state. Apart from that, our focus is to keep growing the ports that we have. We are very confident that Mundra Port in the next decade has the potential to be the largest port in not just in the country but in Asia. And we are working towards that goal. Port, which again it's a multi-purpose port run by APSEZ. Our focus is to make it into a 100 million ton port in the next 5 to 6 years time. And our focus apart from that is to introduce new technologies to help reduce cost, the overall logistics cost, and to improve operation. So it becomes a key enabler for industries to become competitive, not just within multiple states, but globally. And our target is that we should be able to reduce logistics cost for our customers by almost 10 to 15% every year. And so we continuously work on various innovation, various models to help them succeed and help them grow with our use of technology and with our infrastructure. So I'll just leave it. I'll leave it to that. I know we are running short of time, so we are very keen to further invest and to grow and we'll never forget our journey, because we've started from Gujarat and we'll continue to grow and continue to invest in the state. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Karan Adani. That was short and to the point. Thank you so much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Shri M.K. Das, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary to the Honorable Chief Minister and Additional Chief Secretary, Industries and Mines, Government of Gujarat, to deliver a special address. Shri Manoj Kumar Das, a 1990 batch Gujarat cadre IAS officer, is currently serving as the Additional Chief Secretary to the Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat. He also holds the position of Additional Chief Secretary at Industries and Mines Department. During his illustrious career in public administration spanning over 30 years, Shri Das has held various distinguished positions in the government of Gujarat. We welcome Shri Das, who gives us a detailed perspective of the investment climate in the state of Gujarat. Ladies and gentlemen, over to Shri M.K. Das, IAS.
Honorable Union Minister, ma'am, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, I will speak more about industry, trade, and investment climate in Gujarat. Please switch on the slides, please. And next. Gujarat has overtaken all other states, and right now we are number 1 in terms of industrial output. We are 18% of India's output. Gujarat GDP grew on the rate of 10%. Last year it was even better, 13%. 40% of India's cargo is being handled by Gujarat, and our GDP stands at US $243 billion in 1920, as against $115 billion. Our share in India GDP has gone up by 20% or 30% in last few years only. 30% in 4 years and 20% in last 3 years. Our share in India export is 23%. It's rising. Next slide. I'm happy to tell that our FDI inflow in Gujarat has increased considerably. From 6% few years back, now it is 53% of India's FDI inflow. Last year, it was 240% growth in FDI inflow to Gujarat. And this COVID year, the growth has been fantastic. The first 6 months only, the FDI inflow that was there in Gujarat has accounted for 550% growth. I will repeat, we had 550% growth in FDI inflow in the COVID year in Gujarat. The credit goes to Honorable CM, Honorable Government of India, and the way they supported us. If I talk about domestic investment, in terms of IEM, Gujarat got 51% share of IEM filed in terms of money last year in the entire country. So far export is concerned, we are number 1. Logistics, once again, we are number 1. The ranking done by Niti Aayog. Next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah. Our proactive government, under the leadership of Sri Vijay Rupani Sahab, has taken a number of steps to further make it easy for business to operate in Gujarat. The first thing is, for the new companies, most of the labor laws will not be operative for first 1,000 days. We have taken ease of doing business to a new level. MSMEs won't need any approval for first 3 years. They can just start operation that they want. Our IP portal is very unique. We give 25 approvals from different departments. And almost 6 lakh approval have been given in last 2 years alone. The best testimony came from CEO of Bank of America, when she said that she got all approvals in 7 minutes only, sitting in USA. We have got skilled labor workforce available in plenty. We have made a land bank. Land is a big issue. So we have made GIS-based land bank. I'll talk a little later about that. Then we have got dedicated investor desk for different countries. So as startup is concerned, we are the best performing state. From 3% 4 years back, now we have 43% of startup in Gujarat. In water management also, we are number 1. Next slide, please. We are policy-driven approach. Everything is very transparent. Apart from our industrial policy, we have got a number of policies, like tourism policies, solar policies, and they are refined over time. As per the requirement of industry, we have both formal and informal discussion. And based on the requirement, the policies are changed dynamically. Next. Next slide, please. We are home to 500 Fortune companies. 19 airports are there. We have mapped almost 33,000 hectare industrial land, and they are available through GIS. One can see the price, facilities, distance from airport, etc. We have got a labor piece is concerned. Gujarat is number 1. We hardly have any dispute. We have got 48 large ports, 1.5 lakh kilometers of well-serviced road, and we are power supply state. We are only state having natural gas, water, and power grid. And the best part is the people of Gujarat. They're multicultural and they welcome all outsiders, whether they're from other states or from other countries. Next slide, please. Next slide. I will skip the port because people have already spoken about port, except that we are handling 40% of port facilities. Next. DFC has been will be operational this year, and we have made a company called Garur, where Gujarat government is partnering with Government of India Railway Department, and we are linking not only major ports but also major industries, so that the goods are transported in seamless manner and with least cost. The port department is encouraging private participation. We are also announcing very shortly the logistic policy. This is one of the major costs in industry. Almost 14% of the cost of production comes from logistics only. In Germany, it is 6%. So we're trying to work that this cost goes down considerably. Next slide. We have become auto hub, and you can see how our exports have increased. many companies are producing in Gujarat and exporting to different countries like Japan, USA, Europe. And with more facilities opening shortly, we are going to witness a sharper rise in coming years. A lot of investment is coming here. Almost 15% of FDI comes in this sector only. Electric vehicles are being manufactured. We're also going to have battery plants, 2 big battery plants, plus biggest in the world in this area only. Next. Next, please. In pharma and medical devices, once again, we are taking leadership. We account for 33% of India's pharma output. Same is the scenario in medical devices. And we are exporting to USA with FDA approval. There are a number of companies and many companies are coming here. They're opening the R&D center. One Baxter company, one of the largest in pharma sector, is opening global R&D center in Gujarat. And we are going to have one very big pharma API park and medical device park. The pharma park is coming in Bharuch and medical device park is coming in Rajkot. They are both near to ports only. Next. Next, please. In chemicals and petrochemicals also, we are once again leader in the country, and it is growing very, very fast. In chemical industry, the output is $31.5 billion US. We talk about coke and petrol industry, it is $50.8 billion. World's largest petrol refining hub is at Jamnagar. A huge expansion is taking place in Niara, the other refining in Jamnagar itself. 1 lakh crore rupees being invested there by the company, by the promoters. India's first chemical port is at Dahej, and PCPIR is doing very well. We are expanding PCPIR. We acquired more land there, and there's a lot of demand in this sector. Next. Next, please. It's Madam's department, textile and apparels. Once again, Gujarat textile sector contributes 25% to country's manufacturing sector. And there's a huge growth. This year, Madam is having very, very good. People are very happy. We thought that during COVID, they'll have a lot of difficulty, but post-COVID, or in fact, COVID is still continuing, but Messi is doing very well. From farm to fiber to fabric, fashion and foreign. 30% of India export comes from Gujarat only. We are doing very well in both man-made fiber and cotton fiber also. Now we are trying to focus on garment sector. Our new policy for in garment sector is very attractive and lucrative. Next. In ceramics, this is one sector which is doing really, really well. As people tell, the payback period right now is only 2 years. Morbi is exporting like anything after COVID especially. But they have found new markets. These markets are in Europe, America, South America, Australia. They're exporting everywhere. We are starting one GIDC, huge GIDC there. Almost 1,200 acre land has been taken. We have taken 1,200 acre land. And we have a huge GIDC to promote ceramics. Already 10,000 crore worth investment is going on this sector in Morbi alone. And we are making wall tiles, vitrified tiles, digital tiles, etc. And this is doing very, very well. Next. Next, please. And now we are becoming metal capital also. We had a copper refinery and of course gold and silver, but now we are having big steel plants. ArcelorMittal is expanding it further, putting 40,000 crore rupees. And zinc smelter, we'll have world's largest zinc smelter. And already Vedanta started working on that. Copper smelter also world's largest now. Aluminium, Nalco is putting there. Lithium refinery, the first lithium refinery in Asia is going to be housed in Gujarat. Next. Next, please. In RE sector, our CM has taken great pains, and he has seen that this RE sector we do very well. Honorable PM had just recently led the Khat Muhurat ceremony for 30 gigawatt hybrid energy park in Kutch at Khavra. So far, the world largest was 1 gigawatt only. This is 30 gigawatt, and our government has taken, our CM has taken personal interest, has taken a number of meetings, and with his effort and direction, this has been possible. And our one of the participants here, Mr. Kanadani, the company also are participating in this, and we have taken a big lead over this. In rooftop energy also, we are number 1 in the country. Next. Next, please. Our Dholera is almost ready. This is bigger than Singapore. It's a greenfield project. 920 square kilometer road. We have given everything now there. Drinking water, internal roads, everything is ready. CTP is there. Expressway is being constructed by Government of India. I'm thankful to Government of India for starting this work. This 4,000 crore work. We have just floated tender for at international airport at Dholera only. And it has resulted in investment already One 4,000 crore, one under 1,000 crore investment has come in this region. I'm very sure that this will become new Hazira very, very soon. Next. About GIFT, I will not say much because Mr. Manoj Kumar had just made a presentation, wonderful presentation. GIFT is growing very, very fast with the help of Government of India and Finance Department. It is set to scale to new heights, and we are forming fintech policy to complement Government of India policy to take it to next level. I'm sure this will generate a lot of job. Right now, almost 10,000 people are working there, and very soon we'll have 2 lakh employment there in GIFT City, and it will add to the financial muscle of the country. Next. Not only we do trade and business, we are #1 export. We are also very much aware that living has to be comfortable. So we are going for smart cities. We have got 6 smart cities: Ahmedabad, Vadodara, Surat. They all rank in top 10 cities. They are most stable cities. They have wealth of talent. We rank second in terms of knowledge workers as per Niti Aayog report. In healthcare, we have got number of private hospitals, government hospitals. In government sector, we have got the world's biggest hospital in Ahmedabad itself, which is second biggest otherwise. Education, we have got IITs, IIM, NID, NIFT, everything is there. And we are trying to have more skilling. We are focusing on skilling now with Indian Institute of Skill Development coming up in Gujarat. IT is being upgraded with the help of industries. And Japan, India collaborating for skill development in Gujarat. Next slide. Next slide, please. And I will just like to end here, say that people do business, have a good time here. We have got healthcare, education, but people are also very fun loving. They celebrate life. It is a very peaceful state. They earn here, they do well, and there's a lot of festivity all around. So whenever you come and invest in Gujarat, you will be happy. Your next generation will be happy. Our industrial policy is there to help you. Our incentives are the best. Come invest in Gujarat and have a great time. We will be your partner all throughout. Thank you. And before I will end, I will just say that you can see the industry partners, how they say they have been very, very happy. And what Mr. Randara said, that if you don't invest in Gujarat, I mean, you are definitely not doing very wise thing. Recently, Japan has put a DG rank officer here, equivalent to what they put in Delhi. Similarly, our Invest India is also opening office in Gujarat because 53% of FDI coming to Gujarat alone. So they are opening a big office here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. M.K. Das. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we will move on to the much awaited speaker of the day, definitely our chief guest for the sessions, Srimati Smriti Irani, Union Minister for Textiles and Women and Child Development, to deliver her special address. Srimati Irani is currently the Union Minister for Textiles and Women and Child Development. She was the Union Minister for Human Resource Development from May 2014 to July 2016 and Minister for Information and Broadcasting from July 2017 to May 2018. She is India's youngest minister in the government and the first woman to hold office as Union Minister for Human Resource Development and as Union Minister of Textiles, a moment that was of pride for many women in India. She has significantly and successfully pursued permanent commission for women in the Indian Army by facilitating legal aid to women officers. She has also launched Saksham, the first ever vision document released by any political organization in India, which underlines policies, programs, and implementation tools for the upliftment of the differently abled in India. In the 126th Assembly of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, Mrs. Smriti Zubin Irani was unanimously elected as a member representing the Asia-Pacific region to the task force responsible for establishing the first ever committee for young parliamentarians in the IPU. At the same assembly, Mrs. Irani was also unanimously elected by member nations as a rapporteur for the Standing Committee on Sustainable Development, Finance and Trade. To add to it, the World Economic Forum has named Mrs. Irani as the young global leader from India for the year 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, truly a great moment, a proud moment for all of us here. May I request our chief guest for the session, Srimati Smriti Irani, Union Minister for Textiles and Women and Child Development, to deliver her special address. Over.
Thank you so much, Deepa, for such a lovely introduction. I can see on screen today we are joined by Avantika Singh, CEO of the Gujarat Maritime Board, a lady that I had the privilege of working and serving as a member of parliament representing Gujarat. I think Mr. Dash has very well articulated the potential, the HR potential, skill potential, and for that matter, the administrative and investment potential of Gujarat. For me, honor the deliberations in the special session, which is dedicated to exploring investment opportunities in the maritime sector for the particular state that I was happy to and very privileged to represent for so many years. A state which became the hub of investments during the tenure of Shri Modi as Chief Minister is today served by Mr. Rupani, that keeps the vibrant flag of investment, innovation, and actualization of new opportunities, the flag flying as high as envisaged by Narendra Bhai. I would like to, at the onset of my comments, compliment the efforts of my colleague in the Council of Ministers, Sri Mansukh Mandavia, for he has been incessantly driving a lot of change in the ministry and brought about qualitative change in the sector. With the blessings of the Honorable Mansukh Bhai has organized the Maritime India Summit in some of the most challenging of all times that has been seen in human history. The summit, I am told, is dedicated to evolution of investment of over rupees lakh crores with a promise of generating employment of close to 20 lakh jobs. And that is why today I think all the industry partners who have come onto this August forum have a huge task ahead of them, a huge dedication ahead of them. The ministry under Mr. Mandavia, as you all know, is dedicated to enhancing ease of doing business and efforts to implement the enterprise business system, thereby simplifying and digitizing a lot of our processes across major ports with the vision of ending it by 2021. And I wish the ministry all the luck. It is indeed quite a laudable effort. Now, while the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways is developing a national maritime logistics portal to implement 100% paperless processes, it is the dedication with which it's making efforts to develop green, sustainable ports that will, I'm sure, gladden a lot of eco-inclined hearts. Now, the mantra of the Modi government, as you all know, is make in India, but make for the world. And I think Gujarat's mantra is that grow in Gujarat for the growth of India. And it is with that expectation of growth in the maritime sector in Gujarat that I seek your attention. I'm sure this has been discussed towards the fact that there is about 100 to about 110 million tons per annum of iron ore that is expected to coastally move, primarily driven by the increase in steel and pellet production in Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Gujarat, and new opportunities which will come because of the operationalization of new iron ore blocks by the year 2030. I'm sure some of you have discussed about the Gujarat cluster, which will have the potential of coal traffic of around 45 to 60 MPTA, POL potential of about 310 to 330 MTPA by 2030. I'm also sure, and I think I'd heard one of the esteemed speakers speak about the container traffic potential of Gujarat. With 3 currently IWT terminals operating in Gujarat, I foresee humongous potential for development in the IWT infrastructure, with the additional focus and impetus that the Honorable Prime Minister gives to multimodal transportation systems in our country so that we can supplement the logistics solutions for our economy. Gujarat is well positioned to enable and actualize the Prime Minister's dream for port-led development. So, Mr. Das, you have a huge target and a huge pathway to achieve ahead of you. And given the history of Gujarat maximizing potential for investors, I'm sure that most of the investment decisions that will be taken by industry with regards to maritime sector in Gujarat, I look forward to it getting potentially implemented at a very fast pace. For that has been the experience of most people who've done business with Gujarat. Now, I'm sure, has been discussed about the coastal tourism opportunities. Viraval and Dwarka lighthouses are something that are extremely close to me because I've been a frequent traveler in that area, and I'm sure that you will find enhanced investment potential and inputs from the industry for the same. And as Mr. Dash's last slide spoke about celebrating life, I must here enunciate the tagline of Gujarat Tourism, which says, "Kuch din to bitaiye Gujarat mein." I will, in fact, but warn investors, kuch din nahi, you need to make Gujarat your penultimate destination when it comes to port-led development and maritime investments. With that, I wish you all very, very well. And congratulations once again, Ms. Singh, for a fabulous forum discussion.
Thank you so much, ma'am. As always, it's so interesting to hear you put across words in a way that really interests everyone who's listening to you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us. We truly understand how difficult it must have been for you to find time to be part of the panel, but you were here before time and patiently waited until your turn. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being with us. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of today's session. And I would now, once again, with a lot of pleasure, request Srimati Avantika Singh, the Vice Chairperson and CEO of GMB, to propose a vote of thanks to all of us present here. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Deepa. Thanks for conducting this session so beautifully. I would like to begin my vote of thanks address by expressing my gratitude to our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Bhai Modi ji, for his vision of transforming India into a blue economy and for this landmark initiative of the second Maritime India Summit. Also, I must express my gratitude to our Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Vijay Bhai Rupani ji, for his decisive leadership and constant guidance to our department as the minister looking after ports as well. Also, this is an opportune time to express my gratitude to Shri Mansukh Mandavia ji, the Union Minister for Ports, Shipping and Waterways, who has worked tirelessly to make this Maritime India Summit a grand success. Madam, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to you for sparing your valuable time and honoring us by your presence in this session today and for inspiring us and encouraging us with your words of wisdom. Also, I would like to thank Shri N.K. Das, ACS to Honorable CM and ACS Industries, Shri Kamal Dayani ji, ACS Ports and Transport and ACS GAD for sharing their vision of port-led industrial development and sparing their valuable time for this session. I thank Chairman DPT, Kandla Port Trust as a co-organizers for all his support during the preparatory phase and the implementation phase of this session. I also take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank our key stakeholders, Sri Jakob Sorensen, Mr. Mark Hudson, Mr. Karan Adani, Mr. Manoj Kumar, for sharing their thoughts and being partners in the growth journey of Gujarat. In the end, I would like to thank all the participants for sparing their time and paying attention to this session and also contributing to the growth journey of Gujarat. We hope to continue to partner with all of you to make this state the leading maritime state as it always has been, and to contribute to the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat of our Honorable Prime Minister. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Jai Guru.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, speakers. Thank you, all of you, for joining us. Special thanks to our Honorable Union Minister for joining us. Thank you all. Myself, Deepa Rahulishwar, signing off, hoping to see you all in another event very shortly. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.